If you're going on a date this week, here are a few things that you could talk about. Welcome back to my show, If You're Going on a Date this week, where I talk about everything you could talk about on a date, ranging from topics about pop culture, to movies, to TV shows, to business news, to music, to books, to anything going on in the world that you could talk about on your date. Those are the parameters for the podcast. I think one of the hardest parts about going on a first date is knowing what to talk about and worrying about and stressing about what you're going to say, what you're going to mention, things you're going to ask. And the purpose of this is to make all of that a little easier and a little lighter and make you feel like you can go into the date with some sense of confidence and a little bit of an idea of what you could talk about. So take one or two of these with you, take all of them with you, take none of them with you. The point is, not none, hopefully you take at least one with you so that you can feel a little bit easier and better about going into the date. And that's the whole purpose of this, and I want you to feel that way because I think it's important to feel more confident and feel like lighter going in, and I think you will then have a much better time. You'll present yourself much better, and you'll leave feeling better about it. You'll overthink less. You'll be less anxious afterwards. You'll be more confident, and I think those are just good things you can get from going into a date well. So let's get into it before I talk about nonsense more. The first story is that Alix Earle dropped the trailer for her new Netflix reality TV show called Earle Meets World, and it's definitely trying to position the Earle family as like the next Kardashians. She has a lot of siblings, two younger sisters, and also a younger sister named Ashton, and a younger brother. It's from two separate families, so I think the younger three siblings are siblings, and I actually don't know. I'm sure we'll find out in the TV show. But the family dynamic is incredibly interesting. The dad cheated on the mom, and now that mom is very much so in their lives, and the mom talks about that a little bit in the trailer. They hint on that, and that's become like a very big focal point of the trailer, as of course it would be. Like, that's an incredibly interesting thing that has happened, and the fact that the mom is still, cordial with the other mom and is friendly with her and goes to dinner with her and like all this stuff. All the comments are like, she is so much stronger than I would ever be. And it just creates an inherently interesting dynamic that I think everybody's like, whoa, what is going on there? Much more deeper than they would have expected. Alix also found out during Dancing with the Stars that her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that seems to be a very big plot point of the show, as well as her breakup with Braxton Berrios that happened around the same time. So the cameras were up at a really interesting time in Alix Earle's life. It also feels like at the same time every moment is interesting in her life. Like, there's just a lot going on. And the show looks really interesting. Like, I am really excited to watch it. I think there is a lot there. It doesn't feel like the plot points are made up. It feels like the plot points are very real life, very like real scenarios. As well as her building this company, Real Actives, at the same time. I think the trailer looks great. Like, I saw that and I was like, whoa, that looks really good. She also just is an inherently interesting person by rising up from TikTok, becoming the most famous person on TikTok probably, and kind of bringing her whole family with her. So I think it'll be a great show. I went to an event yesterday to meet Alix Earle with Netflix and Dunkin' Donuts, which was crazy. And I actually met her. She was really nice. Like, I met her for like maybe 15 seconds, and she was very kind throughout the entire interaction. So I'm going to watch the show. I want to support it, and I think, not that they need it, but I think it's interesting, and that's news. The next story is that Meghan and Harry are coming back to the UK after announcing their departure, saying that, like, kind of doing this whole, like, exodus from the UK, from royalty, going on Oprah, saying all this stuff about the family. Nobody ever thought they would go back, and a lot of people actually did, but like, no, it was always like, if they were to go back, like, it would be under like really crazy circumstances. It almost kind of feels like they've tried everything here. Meghan has had a couple companies, they've had a couple Netflix shows, he wrote a memoir, like they've done a lot after saying they don't really want to be in the public eye. They've been in the public eye a lot for having said that. So them going back is really interesting, and kind of crazy after like really kind of siloing themselves from it all and like separating themselves and like fully separating themselves and leaving and doing something that like is kind of unprecedented. So I think it's kind of a crazy move. I think the world is kind of like shook by it and everyone's kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? It's big news. And I'm not that invested in Meghan and Harry. I did watch the first 2 seasons of The Crown. I really liked it. I would recommend it. I also started watching the show The Diplomat on Netflix. I saw that season 4 is coming out next week or in like a month or so. So I was like, I want to catch up. It's amazing. The Diplomat. Like, oh, what the fuck? Where has this show been? I feel like everybody knows about it. Everybody seems to be watching it except for me. So I'm late to the party. But it's amazing. Also, I watched this movie called Don't Say Good Luck on Netflix. It was produced by Adam Sandler and his wife, and it stars their daughter. I believe her name is Sunny Sandler. Whoa. I mean, it was devastating. People are taking up gripes with the movie because it's described as a comedy, and it is so far from a comedy. The plot is that this high school puts on the musical Waitress, and along the way of her practicing for the musical and leading up to the musical, her mom is diagnosed with, I believe, stage 4 cancer. Sorry for all the cancer talk in this episode. This is supposed to be like fun and light, but it's not. I'm also going to talk about Hayden Panettiere passing away. So like, this is the sad episode. Maybe I'll call it that. No. I'll say some uplifting stuff too. Harry Styles' residency starts next week in New York City. So everybody's excited about that. Everybody's gearing up. He's doing like 30 shows in New York. That was just me kind of saying something exciting just to lighten up the mood. But anyway, this movie was so sad. If you are looking for a sad movie, if you like sad movies, Don't Say Good Luck on Netflix. You've been warned, by the way. Holy shit, that movie, I was devastated. I'm still thinking about it days and days later. It's great. It's amazing. I DM'd the the writer on Instagram, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. She was like, thank you so much. Yeah, wow, watch that. Harry Styles is doing a 30-day, maybe longer, residency in New York City at Madison Square Garden. It starts next week. I'm going October 7th or something like that. Maybe October, I don't know, somewhere around October, to see it. I am so excited about it. This show has garnered a lot of attention early days when he did it abroad. And the stage was really big. People were kind of like clowning on it at the same time. Like there were kind of like worries about his like health, and a lot was going on during that leg of the tour. MSG is a lot smaller of a stage and a stadium than he was doing there. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like, what this show will look like. I think it's going to be insane. I'm so excited to see him live. And yeah, so look out for Harry Styles at MSG and all his performances. I'm sure we'll see them all on like TikTok and Instagram in the next coming weeks and everything. I'm sure it'll be like super viral. So that is coming soon. Hayden Panettiere passed away. I meant to mention this on Monday, and I was like, that's sad. I don't really want to talk about it. But I think it should be mentioned, that she passed away. It's such a devastating death. She was 36 years old. It's just so sad. Yeah, I guess that's why I didn't mention it. There's not that much to say beside the fact that it's really sad. She did an interview on Jay Shetty's podcast talking about her postpartum depression and kind of her life after being a child actor and all this stuff. So maybe go watch that interview with Jay Shetty if you want to learn more about her and her life. Jay put a really nice tribute on Instagram about his time with her, and how incredible it was that she was so vulnerable with him and the audience and everything, and like that it's a real legacy to leave. Sorry for the email. And that's that on Hayden Panettiere. Just really sad. Yeah, I'm seeing so many edits and everything of like Ice Princess and all those movies. Just really sad. The next story is that... What do I want to talk about? The next two ACOTAR, A Court of Thorn and Roses, A Court of Rose and Thorns, were announced. Sarah J. Maas, his next two books, were announced, and the internet went fucking wild. I feel like those books, that series, is such like a thing in culture. I feel like every girl ever has read that book. So if you're looking for a topic to talk about on your date, you could be like, I saw that the A Court of Thorn and Roses books were There's 2 more coming out. Like, have you read those? She'll probably be like, yes, like, oh my God. That's a great topic to talk about and be like, that's so exciting. Like, are you going to read them again? Like, should there be a movie? Like, that's a really great date topic, by the way. I think like that can go until like October, November, by the way. Like, you could just always mention that on a first date. Be like, have you read, I saw that they're making 2 more books of A Court of Ronan and Thorns. Are you going to read them, or have you read them, or like, what are your thoughts on those? That's a great topic. You're welcome. The next topic is that the MTV Video Music Awards, the VMAs, nominations were announced. Taylor Swift and Madonna both lead the awards. I think they both have 11 nominations or something like that. Fuck yeah, Madonna, like staying up there on those charts. That's sick. The next story is that Gracie Abrams was on Jake Shane's podcast. I haven't watched it yet. It came out last night, I think around like 12. I think I will watch it. I'm excited to see them together. I feel like Jake Shane has such huge guests on that podcast. It feels like the podcast for musicians to go on. Like, everybody in music wants to be a part of that. He also is signed by UTA, where like a lot of those musicians are also signed. So there's a lot of like synergy there, and I feel like it's probably not that hard to get them on from that. But also, they want to go on Jake Shane's podcast. Like, he has built something really impressive there, and the audience is so excited every time he announces a guest. Every time he announces somebody, it's bigger and bigger. And it's really impressive what he's built, what that podcast has done for artists. It seems like a very like safe space to go. He's talked openly about the fact that he will cut anything that the guest doesn't like. It's just a place for you to like get to hang out with the guest and get to know them. It's not really a hard pressing journalistic interview show. It's just really a hangout show. And I think he does a really good job at that. I think the positioning was a little confusing for a little while. And I think he the whole time was like, no, this is just a hangout. Like, that's all I want it to be. And he's gotten very clear about that. I think it's really smart. It's not an advice show. It's really just a hangout, fun vibe, get to know your favorite celebrity with me. And I think it's smart that he's positioned it that way. And I'm excited to watch Gracie Abrams on the podcast. The next story is that the final season of Outer Banks just came out. Madeline Klein is on a press tour talking about it all. I love Madeline Klein. I feel like everybody loves Madeline Klein. She was in that house tour music video with Sabrina Carpenter, which also got nominated for a VMA. What a video, by the way. You got to watch that video. I haven't watched Outer Banks since the first season. Maybe I should get back to it, but I hope everybody, all the Outer Banks fans, are excited and are watching. Dakota Johnson and Role Model split a long time ago. A lot of reports came out yesterday saying that literal headline, that Dakota Johnson and Role Model have split a long time ago, which is kind of confusing because Dakota Johnson is featured on one of his songs on his newest album. He performed it live and looked really happy performing it live with her voice and like doing kind of like a call and response with her voice. So that's confusing, but yeah, sorry for them. That's not great news. What else did I miss? This episode was kind of a little all over the place. I gave you a lot of different topics. I went from A to Z, back to Z to A, back from D to Q. Like, there was no order here. I've been trying to order them better. This episode, there wasn't like a ton to tell you about that was so pressing. No, just kidding. There was a lot going on here. A lot you needed to know. A lot that you could talk about. I think the best part about these episodes and the best part about this podcast is that, like, similarly to what I was saying about Jake Shane's show, it's like, it's not that serious. It's just you come here to get what's going on in the world in terms of things that you could talk about. Hopefully you've left with one of those. Hopefully you feel like you have something you could be like, okay, I can bring that on the date. Maybe it's the new Court of Thorns and Roses books. Maybe it's Gracie Abrams' new album. Maybe it's the Earle Meets World trailer on Netflix. Maybe it's Outer Banks. Maybe it's new movies and stuff on Netflix. Also, I saw that Olivia Rodrigo, I'm just seeing this on Twitter right now, Olivia Rodrigo paid for a fan's last semester tuition to college after seeing that she was struggling. She privately reached out to her on Instagram and was like, hey, I'd love to pay for your last semester of college. And I love when celebrities do that type of stuff. Like, I love when they go privately and, like, it's totally up to the fan to share it or not. That fan could have completely kept that private forever and no one would have ever known about it. And there's probably so many situations like that we don't know about. But I do appreciate that the fan was like, I love Olivia Rodrigo for this. And now, like, we get to see that everybody gets to see that, and it's just goodwill for the celebrity. I don't think they do it with the hopes that the fan will share it. I think it's just genuine out of the goodness of like her heart in the situation. It was a very anonymous donation. It was just to this one girl. And I think I love those type of stories. So I hope you left with something from this episode that you could talk about on your date. And I hope you do have a great date when you go on that date. I will see you on Monday for a new episode. Every new episode is Monday and Thursday. You can also check out my other podcast called Guy Set. And you also check out my website, guyset.com, GUYSET, for so much more dating advice. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on Monday. See ya.